It's sunny day. I'm sitting outside in my garden, staring into ebook reader. I'm reading a book called Hard Times Create a Strong Man. And I just know that I'm gonna remember this chapter that I'm reading forever. The chapter was about comparison between chimpanzees and bonobos. The chimpanzees are more aggressive, they hunt, they are led by male chimpanzees. But on the other hand, the bonobos, unlike chimpanzees, they don't hunt because they can eat plants. They are more peaceful, they are not as aggressive, and they masturbate a lot. And when I see that, I put the book away and I start to think about how can I apply this knowledge and wisdom to my life. And I just see that bonobos are like most of the modern people who are complacent, who don't have to work hard for their food, unlike chimpanzees, who, if they don't want to starve to death, they have to put some effort into it. They have to go and hunt, risk their lives for the food. But bonobos, they can sit all day, they can masturbate, and they can just get food from their plants. And personally, I feel like a bonobo when I scroll. I have a hard times. The only bad habit that I do basically is that sometimes I scroll for 15 to 30 minutes on Instagram because it's addicting. My brain is always telling me, oh, just scroll for a couple of minutes. It's not that big of a deal. So I scroll, and to be honest, it's not that big of a deal because I can waste 15 minutes per day, which is not that terrible in the short run. Because when I zoom out and I imagine my life scrolling every single day for 15 minutes, every single day that I scroll will worsen my attention span. And when I look into my future, I want to be a successful storyteller, writer, and content creator. And if I keep worsening my attention span over a long period of time, it's quite a big deal, it turns out. I don't want to have a attention span like a goldfish. I need to have a great attention span so I can focus on creating things and not consuming things. Unfortunately for me and for other people, it turns out that creating is way harder than consuming. Because if you want to consume, you have to do just one little movement with your finger and scroll on Instagram or TikTok. But when you want to create, you have to use this thing between your ears, which is your brain, and it's quite demanding when you compare that to scrolling. So after reading this chapter, every single time that my mind wants to grab my phone to see some notification, to get new information, what is happening all around the world on social media, when I have the urge, I imagine in my mind a little bonobo who who is complacent, who is lazy, who wants to just consume. And after I have this image in my hand, most of the time I just press the power button on my phone, I dim the screen off, and I put the phone outside of my sight because I know it would be comfortable, my attention span would be worsened, and with every single minute spent on scrolling, I would have a lower attention span, which means lower probability of success in the long run. If you want to do anything in your life with better attention span, is it will become much more easier if your brain works properly. And if your brain has always urge to do something so fast, scroll or watch a movie or eat junk food, it just doesn't work. And without a working brain, it is hard to focus for extended period of time on something meaningful, like creating stories, creating content, or writing something. So that's when I realized that every single time I scroll away my potential future that I want to live and the person who I want to become. So the message for this video is, don't live a life like bonobo. Don't be just consumer who can consume without putting any real effort into the activity. It's dangerous because then you will get lazier and lazier. Your brain will not want to do the harder work, unlike scrolling, and the life will become harder because without focus, you cannot focus on the things that you want to achieve and the person who you want to become. So every time when you want to scroll, imagine a complacent little bonobo in your head, and hopefully you will be discouraged to scroll because nobody wants to live a life like bonobo. Thanks for watching this video and see you soon in another one.